What is up, people? Welcome back to the channel. Thompson Friends is a franchise with a whole bunch of key elements. Ergo, the Steam Team, some landmarks, and Farmer McColl. But one key element who seems to fly under the radar is the good old Fat Controller. With his use of dynamic and his rather surprising character switches, there's a good amount to talk about with this holly jolly fat man. No, not Santa Claus. So let's begin with what could probably be one of the most intriguing installments on Let's Talk Thomas. The Fat Controller first appeared in the third episode of the first season of the Thompson Friends TV series, The Sad Story of Henry, or Come Out Henry if you're a Yank like me. In this episode, he's established as a major authority figure, commanding the people to pull and push in an attempt to get Henry out of his tunnel, calling for help from another engine, and then calling it quits and ordering for Henry to get sealed in the tunnel. He would go on to consistently appear in the series, most often at an episode's end to ridicule an engine. And while this character sounds a bit bland on paper, it actually works pretty damn well. It's not too much of a reoccurring thing. In fact, a good amount of classic series episodes end completely fatty free. And when you put him in a scenario that he wouldn't normally be in, especially with his by-the-book personality, it makes for quite the story. Quick side tangent on Lady Hatt's birthday party. This is Sir Topham Hatt's best episode, one of his only episodes. It's a perfect example of what can be done with him when putting him in a unique situation. It's funny, it's ambitious, it's exciting, and it's a great episode for the Fat Controller. Now, don't get me wrong, he's had other good episodes, but this is the best, by far. And the classic series would go on to keep his character consistent, having no major changes through the rest of seasons 6 and 7. When the new series came around, like a lot of other things, the Fat Controller's character declined. I mean, not too drastically, and yes, I have a bias because I don't like either English narration, but he didn't have any episodes solely about him, and his character ranged more into solely an authority figure. In the classic series, he was written in a way that made him seem more, human. But in the new series, he legit feels like an NPC. Something that'll just appear somewhere and you have to complete a task to get around it. We didn't get Sir Topham Hatt cheating death in the new series. What we did get was the same intro for 75% of the episodes. Yeah, and the Miller era wasn't too much better. I'm not gonna lie, in my personal opinion, he was a lot more bearable in the Miller era. And he also seemed less like a game NPC and slightly more like an actual functioning human. Then we got the Brenner era, the most groundbreaking era for Sir Topham Hatt. This era focused more on making the Fat Controller more human than he's ever been, slightly reminiscing back to the classic series. But if you've seen Tug's video on the Renaissance, then you know exactly what I'm about to get into. The Fat Controller-based humor. In the works of making the Fat Controller less of a robot, he was morphed into more of an average Joe. So it didn't take the writers long to write him as a clumsy, incidental controller. He's also fat. What story opportunity? Not gonna lie, it works sometimes. Like having him enjoy an ice cream on an afternoon and then dropping it and then hearing him yell at the top of his lungs. I mean, I didn't laugh, but it makes sense and it's overall a nice scene. Not only because it adds to the episode, but it shows a more chill side of Sir Topham Hatt. But ripped pants and stupidly gained black eyes aren't funny. So much of the time, he's just depicted as a total dumbass. It's a brutal beatdown for what is his well-developed character. And unfortunately, this type of humor continues throughout the rest of the show. And it's a very mixed bag. Half the time it's kind of funny, and half the time it's kind of not. Last time I talked about a character, or characters, I mentioned my favorite appearance of theirs at the end of the discussion. But since I've already done that, I'm gonna finish off by saying the classic series Fat Controller is easily the best Fat Controller. He's not as bland as the one in the new series, and he's just better handled than the one in the Miller and Brenner era. So, what have we learned? The Fat Controller was a great, stable character until the new series. Every time he's appeared after that, it's either been really bearable or really not. The new series did him dirty, the Miller era actually didn't do him as dirty as one could guess, and the Brenner era brought just as much light onto the character as they did intense underlying darkness. Well, damn. Looks like we're back here again. I thought to myself while I was writing the script for this, I'm really only depicting the TV series Fat Controller, but not talking anything about the different Fat Controllers that there are, 1, 2, and 3. So I might make a video on that someday. Don't count on it. Thanks for 300 subscribers. That's pretty cool. Current time I'm recording, I have 315, which is cool, but those 15 don't matter. That's a joke, I swear. And, well, as you know, I have nothing else to say, so I'll see you when I decide to upload again.